Good afternoon to you and happy Friday. How are we doing today? Week 3 of lockdown. How has it been for you? Beautiful sunny day out there, at least in London. Hope you are doing well. How are you feeling? How's the homeschooling going? And how are your businesses bearing up? I'm interested to know what you're working on at the moment and what support you need. What are your main challenges, and how are the people that you work with, very importantly, how are your team, whether they are employed by you or maybe the people that do work for you, how are they feeling, how are they doing? And have you had to furlough staff? I mentioned last week that I was working with a company that was having to furlough their team, so that's always quite a challenge, but we got through all of those processes. So I wonder if you're having to do the same and how that's working out for you. This week I've been working with a client whose business is absolutely flying, which is really nice to see. Hi Carrie, hi, thanks for joining. This client is actually growing his team, which is brilliant, and learning how to manage everything remotely. So I'm wondering if that's the situation for you. Hi Paula, nice of you to join. Just wondering how everybody's doing, week 3 of lockdown. How are we feeling and what are we working on at the moment? How is business going? I was just saying I'm working with a client whose business is absolutely flying. He's actually onboarding more people and figuring out how to manage everything remotely. That's quite a challenge, the whole interview and onboarding process completely remotely, but we've managed it, which is brilliant. We're looking at what systems he needs and also how to manage, very importantly, the communication on the organisation. So in terms of my business as well, I've also been recording several modules of the online version of my 6-step program that many of you are familiar with. So it's all around how to ensure that you're running your business rather than it running you. So more on that to come in due course. Last week we spoke about time and how you're using your time. So I'm wondering how that landed for you. Did you review your calendar? Did you look at what kind of tasks you're spending your time on? Any thoughts on your time? We were talking about the £10 tasks, the £100 tasks and the £1,000 tasks, and most of us want to be spending our time on the £1,000 tasks, which is all the creative stuff. It's new products, it's partnerships, it's a lot of those inspirational and innovative things that we love to do, a lot of us business owners. But the £100 tasks are actually the ones that drive the revenue. So they're all the lead generation and onboarding customers. And so my advice last week was think carefully before you stop the outsourcing of any £10 tasks, which are you're sort of keeping the lights on, or your administrative tasks. Be careful before you bring that back to you, because that will mean you don't have enough time to do the very important business generation £100 tasks. I also wondered about the cash flow template. Did you see the video that I posted? So I posted the cash flow forecasting template in the group a couple of weeks ago, I think now, and I posted a video a few days ago, and I know a few of you have started to use it, so really interested to hear how you're getting on with that. And the other thing then is we talked about last week was focus. So I spoke about drawing a box. You can draw on a piece of paper if you like, that's what I did. What's in that box, and did you decide to stay in that box to help you keep focused? It's just a really nice simple construct that a lot of people find helpful. So as I posted in the group this morning, I know that some of you are flying like that client that I mentioned earlier on. Business is good, or you're busy creating and getting ready for the new world. But I know that also there are some people in this group that feel like they're failing because business is tough. And I also know that there's a few that are kind of somewhere in between, maybe flailing around a little bit, not quite sure what's happening and feeling a little bit all over the place. And I really want to say that wherever you are and however you're feeling, this group is a safe space. And please share your wins, but also your challenges and your experiences. And let's really support each other as a community. So several of you have been in touch, and I've had quite a lot of conversations this week, and there's been a bit of a theme in those conversations about your role as a business owner, as the boss, as the leader, if you like. And I thought I'd share a few of my thoughts on that today, and very interested to hear your thoughts on that as well. So there are, of course, many different qualities when it comes to that word leadership, but fundamentally for me it's about how you show up. It's about being honest and self-aware, and it's really also about communication, which is so important, and bringing people with you. Ultimately, it's all about community and a common mission, and a lot of people are talking about that now, not necessarily in a business context, but definitely this mission of, there's lots of messaging out there about we're all in this together, and trying to support each other as we go through this. And what I would say is there are many people looking to you, to me, to all of us at this time, and I think it's really important just to take a moment to think about how we want to show up. So I thought I'd share my 5 top tips for showing up for your team, for your community, and also for yourself. So number 1, communication. Communication is such an important thing. When I work with business owners and they're growing their teams, I always say to them, you need to probably communicate more than you actually think is necessary. Whenever there's times of change, however much communication you think you need to do more. And at this time, it's even more critical, and I can't really stress that enough. What my advice is to all of you that are working with others, and that will be pretty much all of you in this group, send out a daily communication to your team. That probably feels like a lot, but I don't mean anything particularly extensive. I mean like an email, a quick video, a quick voice message, every single day. Don't wait until you've got all the answers. I think we always feel, maybe as business owners, that we have to have it figured out. Don't wait until you've got it all figured out, because that might take some time, because nobody really knows what's happening. So communicate. Don't overthink what you're saying. More than anything, your people need to know that you're there, that you're in control, and that you're making decisions. And so even if you're not having a great day, even if things feel a little bit all over the place, think about sending a message to your people to let them know that you're there, and that is absolutely part of being a leader, is that showing up and saying I'm here and I'm making decisions and I'm doing the best that I can. What I would say about those messages is stick to the facts. Don't guess or speculate. Don't try and figure out how people are feeling. Tell people what's happening. That's what they want to know. If you do have negative news to share, mention it first and then say what you're doing to address it. Just be really upfront with people. Your people will believe and trust in you much more if you're just straightforward and factual. So don't try and sugarcoat it, but obviously try and balance as much as you can the negatives with the positives. So tell people what's really happening, but also balance out with what we're doing about it and what the steps are and what they can do. So that's my first tip. My second tip is around innovation. So there's a tendency, and I've seen it a lot with the people that or some people that I've spoken to, is we tend to kind of look inwards and maybe navel gaze a bit at times like this when everything's changing and it's chaotic. It's quite easy to kind of look inwards, but actually research very clearly shows that helping others and reaching out makes us all really feel better. And so I would ask you, how can you and your team support your customers and your communities? Get your people together, get them on, host an online call, get people together, start thinking about things, brainstorm some ideas that you can be innovative. How can your business serve your customers in this time, or serve your communities in this time? We've seen some amazing stories on the news about businesses that are pivoting to and repurposing their production lines, their teams, their technology to help communities in these uncertain times. And so the key really now is to be giving without expectation. Is to give what you can, because your customers and your communities really will remember what you did when this is all over, and so will your team. So that is definitely my second point, is rather than my second tip, if you like, rather than focusing too much inwards, either on yourself or your business, really encourage you and your team to be reaching out and helping others. It will make you feel better. It'll give you a sense of purpose. A few more people have joined. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining. So my third tip around leadership and showing up is really that this is a great time to review and take stock. I mentioned this when we're in our community event actually a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about the 3 steps that you can take from survival to thrival, you know what I mean, to thriving. And the middle step is really around taking stock and assessing where you are. And now is the perfect time for a spring clean in your business. The weather is fantastic. We've got that feeling. We've got the windows open. You know, so I think in our homes, a lot of us are kind of cleaning and spring cleaning. But it's a great time to do that in your business. Which bits of your business can you focus on? Can you improve? Which processes can you make even easier for your customers and your employees to give them an even better experience of dealing with you? I've certainly been using this time to kind of clean up and catch up, if you like. My team and I have been looking at everything we do and how we can improve the experiences of our customers. And I'd really encourage you to do the same. What can you review and spring clean? What can you give a spring clean in your business? What things maybe have you been kind of hanging on to that you can let go of? And what things is it time to kind of rejuvenate or give a clean to? Clean up and catch up is a phrase that I saw, which I thought was brilliant. It really describes certainly what I've been doing in my business in the last few weeks. So that's tip number 3. Now tip number 4 is something that I again have been speaking about before, but I really can't emphasize enough how important this is, and that is that cash is king. We've spoken about this a lot in the last few weeks, focusing on conserving cash. Involve all of your team in how to save money as well as how to generate it. I had a call yesterday with somebody who told me that their business is actually going quite well, and he was telling me that the team were kind of asking if they could buy kind of fairly expensive things, and he had to really say, come on guys, you know, we really have to be, I know we're doing well now, but we really have to conserve our cash. So this is all about cash is king at the moment. So many of you have got in touch to ask for my advice around cash, and we've had lots of great conversations, and a lot of you I know have been using the cash flow template that I mentioned. So check out the video that I posted where I walked through the template and showed you how to use it. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'll also be doing one on budgeting and planning. A few people have asked me about that, so I'll be doing a video and a template around that in the next few days as well, so look out for that. And then the 5th and final point or tip that I wanted to share with you today is around being kind to ourselves and to others. We've talked about focusing on what you can control the controllables, and don't forget that you set the tone for your whole business. And so just think before you react. Remember that you don't know where people are on that lovely change curve, how they're feeling, what they're dealing with. So just take a deep breath and then take another one. So they are my thoughts on leadership and showing up, particularly in times of unprecedented change, even crisis. Some people feel like we're in a crisis. Some people are seeing the opportunities. But they are my thoughts about showing up as a leader and really being authentic and honest and self-aware in these times. So thank you for your contributions and your thoughts and your questions that you sent in. Before I go, I just wanted to acknowledge that this is a very special time for many. This week, people of the Jewish faith were celebrating Pesach, which is the Passover, and of course today is Good Friday. Did you know that it's only every 30 years or so that the Jewish festival of Pesach, the Christian Holy Week of Palm Sunday, which was last Sunday, leading through now to Easter this weekend, and the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, they all happen at the same time? So they're not quite overlapping this year. I think looks like it's going to happen in a couple of years' time in 2022. But it really has made me think over the last few days of how many people of different faiths are all being impacted at this time. And even if you're not religious, this time of year is really about family for so many of us, and it's especially hard to be away from them at this time, and I feel that, and I know that many of you will be feeling that as well. I'm sure that all of us have got really fond memories of past family celebrations. My husband and I were reminiscing over the last couple of days. I was telling him about Easter hunts with my sisters, and he was telling me about all the different foods that you have on the special Seder plate for Passover. So we've been sharing a lot of our memories and reminiscing a bit. And so I wanted to say to all of you, whatever you're doing and whoever you're with, I really do wish you a very peaceful long weekend. Take care, stay safe, keep in touch. And if you want to talk to me, you know where I am. Bye for now. Speak to you soon. Take care.